Welcome to the Milsurf Mike channel. In my Carcano Model 1891 video, I went over the history of the development of the rifle and the man whose name was given to the rifle, Salvatore Carcano. The rifle I demonstrated in that video was a Great War era M91 rifle that had made its way through China at some point. Most Carcanos out in the wild, and the ones currently being sold by some of the larger online retailers, are carbines, whether the Cavalry Carbine or the TS. This video will concentrate on what is commonly called the Cavalry Carbine. In the previous video, I glanced over the Italian Vetterli along with the Vitale magazine conversion in 1887. The original Italian Vetterli 1870 was a single shot instead of the two magazine-fed Vetterlis of the Swiss. The Cavalry carbines were basically chopped-down versions of the single-shot rifle. While the Vetterli in general received a 4-round box magazine in 1887, the Cavalry versions did not receive this upgrade for the most part, nor did they see a World War I adaptation of the Carcano Mannlicher magazine, as well as the 6.5mm barrel sleeve that the long rifles received. And a side note, if you have one of these 1870, 87, 15 long rifles, do not shoot it. There's just a barrel sleeve soldered on, and the Vetterli receivers were not made to handle the smokeless round pressures. All this means that the Cavalry needed an upgrade as well after the adaptation of the M91 long rifle. With the Act of July 15, 1893, the Moschetto Modello 1891 was adopted. In the years following, this carbine was issued to the Cavalry, the Royal Carabinieri, Cyclist, Air Force Guard units, Libyan parachute units, and the Fascist militia. The Cavalry carbine saw the barrel shortened to 17.76 inches, with progressive rifling adjusted for the shorter barrel. It had a modified, still roller coaster sight that measured from 300 to 1,200 meters. At the muzzle is an attached folding spike bayonet that was supposed to lock using a notch. Use during World War I dictated that improvements needed to be made. The bayonet would accidentally close at inopportune times. Several solutions were tested, and the push-button lock that would remain on the carbines until they ceased production would solve the bayonet problem. The same circular 400 of 30 June 1916 that changed the bayonet also established that an upper handguard be added to prevent burns. Production of the initial Cavalry carbine ended in 1919. The Cavalry carbine was generally well liked as it is a handy package to carry, along with the 6.5mm round not beating you up, even in a rifle this small. It became a national symbol during the Fascist era, with a special blackened furniture and chrome-furnished version for the MVSN, an acronym for a name I'm not about to attempt to pronounce, which is basically an honor guard for Mussolini. As the Spanish Civil War heated up, with Italy helping the fascists, Colonel Giuseppe Mainardi worked on developing a larger caliber 7.35 by 51mm round. Since the Italians wanted to convert to a larger round, but recycle as much as what they had in stock, the new round had more or less the same case dimensions as the 6.5mm, so the same receiver, bolt, and clips could be used, while just boring out the barrels for worn-out rifles and making new barrels otherwise. They replaced the latter sight with a peep sight set for 200 meters. This was the Model 38, meaning 1938. This did not leave much time to convert everything over to the new caliber, so it's fortuitous that they kept as much as possible the same, and halted the conversion process shortly after the start of the Second World War, and stuck with the 6.5mm rifle due to logistics. While they made a new Model 38 Cavalry carbines in 6.5mm that retained the peep sight, which is now set for 300 meters, and this is what I have for this video. My receiver indicates it was made in 1940, or as the Roman numerals state, the 18th fascist year. Let me clean up some history before talking about my rifle. The 9138s were produced through the fall of Mussolini in 1943. There were a few produced and converted to 8mm Mauser in the German-held North to be used by the Volkssturm, as well as converted after the war in an attempt to sell to the Middle East. After the war, Carcanos were replaced by surplus Enfields, Garands, M1 carbines, as well as Beretta-produced versions of the Garand. They were still used in law enforcement for decades, and our friend Eltenda Fabrizio said that they still used them in military parades as late as the 1990s. My rifle. Of my 3 Carcanos, this one fared the worst, but usage over its 80-year lifespan could have had something to do with it. Luckily, the bolt is identical to the TS, a carbine I'll review in next week's video, so I popped that bolt in to get some firing time with this rifle. Usually when you see an old military rifle this small, you expect to get the crap kicked out of you, but the 6.5mm round is still mild, even with that much shorter length. I had to aim slightly below 6 o'clock to hit the target 75 yards away due to the 300-yard peep. When it works, as I said, I'm using my TS's bolt here, this is a fun little rifle to have and has an unearned bad reputation. Please be aware of where your elected officials and the groups who claim to represent you stand on the Second Amendment. Please join the GOA, the biggest no-compromise 2A group out there, and get 25% off your membership with the link in the description. And no, I do not receive a kickback. If you like my content, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also check out my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and who I support on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.